the fact that exploitation of the environment comes from the same system that exploits the
workers, environmentalists, activists and NGOs, people on the streets and all that sort of thing, we can actually get to the point where you force the agenda in the way that we want.
Our climate, not your business. Our climate, not your business. Not your business.
Why you don't want these people to help themselves instead of them coming to your country and they'll be miserable? Decide something equal right and justice. We have so much gold in the World Bank. That is the economy of the world, man. Give it to the people, man. We have so much gold, man. Bars of gold. Where is it coming from? Ghana.
Reclaim power! Reclaim power!
You know, the United Nations launched this campaign, seal the deal, seal the deal, seal the deal. And then all of these big NGOs like Oxfam and Greenpeace went tick, 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 tick. They're running around, tick, 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 seal the deal, as if the only thing that matters is signing an agreement. This is insane. You can sign an agreement that is much worse than we currently have. And that's why we need to highlight what a real deal would look like, what real solutions would look like. The stakes are very, very high.
Climate change is our business and we're making a lot of money on it. Yes!
So please don't ruin it.
I'm Canadian and my country is really the climate criminal of all climate criminals. The United States did not sign the Kyoto Protocol. So they haven't been breaking the law all these years that they have been increasing emissions. They didn't sign onto the law. Canada signed the law, and in the period that we were supposed to be reducing emissions, we increased emissions by 26%. Why? Because of something called the tar sands, which is a crime against humanity in my country. It is a process of turning solid mass into liquid petroleum, and in order to do it, you have to boil the earth. It takes 3 times as much fossil fuel energy to create a barrel of oil out of the tar than it does if you were drilling for oil in Saudi Arabia, for instance. This the United States calls energy security, because it's coming from a friendly country and not from a country that they are racist against.
RBC, your hands are dirty. RBC, your hands are dirty. RBC, your hands are dirty. RBC, your hands are dirty.
You know, we need to understand that the vast majority of people, you know, for a start, don't even know what climate change is, let alone don't know what the solutions need to be. For most people, climate change is science, icebergs, and politicians talking about stuff. People don't even know that millions of people are losing their lives, their food, their water, etc. already. I think we have to expose the media very aggressively.
My brother, it always be the same. The rich become richer, the poor become poorer.
The rights and freedoms that belong to us all beings, are the right to exist, the right to habitat, and the freedom to be. The right to diversity, the right to ecological integrity, and the freedom of the natural cycles of life. The right not to be polluted, the right to restorative justice, the freedom of a healthy and clean environment, the right to compassion, and the right to peace.
I think that the important is to understand what succeed means. Succeed doesn't, in my opinion, it doesn't mean just getting to any agreement. It means to get to an agreement which will have targets which are sensible, which, to at least to some extent, they represent what the science say, and which will be implemented.
If we are serious about stopping this crisis, then we need to stop the tar sands. We need to leave the tar in the land.
We will not find a solution to climate crisis if, at the same time, we don't find a solution to water crisis.
I'm a lawyer. I start from first principles. I start from what is damaging. That which is damaging must stop, and it must be made illegal.
When I imagine the situation, I see a great conflict arising over the fuels that are above the ground or are allowed to be extracted. I see all the nations running to grab what is left, and how do we deal with that? That's what worries me.
Obviously, by keeping the oil in the ground, a lot of people stand to lose a lot, not least Saudi Arabia, for example. So should we be paying Saudi Arabia to keep the oil in the ground? So this whole notion of keeping oil in the ground, how is that realised in reality?
Thank you very much. If we can only use a fraction of existing fossil fuels, we should use those fossil fuels in each category which are the cleanest. So that automatically, for instance, rules out all the tar sands and rules out most of the unconventionals, the oil shale and the rest. Now, some people might say that's unfair. The Canadians would kick up about, well, not the Canadians, the Canadian government would kick up about that and say this is terribly unfair because it's depriving us of revenue. And you say, well, sorry, tough. You know, there is just some things which are too polluting for the world to live with, and you're just going to, you know, you're a rich country, Canada, you're just going to have to get on with it. Of course, there are other countries which are much more dependent upon their primary resources, and perhaps we ought to be talking about compensating them. I don't think Saudi Arabia really needs much compensation. I mean, if it's enriched itself so massively over the past 30 or 40 years, and if it hasn't invested that money in diversifying the economy, then again, I'm afraid you just had to say tough.
Wilberforce, when he was fighting against slavery, he did not go around everyone with slaves and say, do you mind if you use your slave a little less? That is the equivalent of energy efficiency. It doesn't tackle it at point of source, and we have to render that which is damaging illegal.
If we want to find a real solution to these problems, whether it happens to be water, biodiversity, or climate, we have to look at our planet as a living entity. This is very important. And instead of considering it as a source of wealth, which is the view that corporations have, and they propose all these things like carbon trading and clean development mechanism and agrofuel, with that vision, I see no solution to any of these crises. We have to look, we have to change the paradigm. We have to look at our planet as what we are, children of Mother Nature. And in that way, I believe there is a way out to all these problems. Thank you.
We all know the answer. And by connecting each one of us to who we are, and then by all joining together as one human race, not looking for differences, where then, as one, which we all are, we resolve the problem